Allison Barker sat in front of the computer with her sister Janice. Today was the 1st of April, and she expected to pull a really good prank on someone. She was so sure it would be great that she invited her sister Janice, who loved a good joke, to enjoy it with her. It was 7:45 p.m., and the live broadcast from Dave and Norma Adams' house was about to begin. Allison thought it was interesting when Dave Adams called her in the morning and told her she would get a link to watch it tonight. Dave was friends with her husband Peter, and they were having a poker night on Monday. Dave and Peter, along with Benny, Scarrow, and Paul Getchell, have been friends since kindergarten. They all still live in the same town with their wives, and 3 of them with children. Allison is married to Peter, and they have 2 children, Jenny and Mark. Benny is married to Angela, and they have no children yet. Paul is married to Wilma, and they have an 8-week-old baby. Dave's wife's name is Norma, and the Adamses also have 2 children, Ben and Max, now sleeping upstairs. Every Monday is poker night, and the venue alternates between the houses. The wives look after the children at home, except for the owner's wife, who acted as hostess for the poker players. On Thursdays, the wives in turn get together and do something. They became friends through their husbands and enjoyed each other's company. They like to try different activities: needlework, dance lessons, reading books, and currently playing pickleball. Angela Scarrow sat alone in front of her tablet. She had grown up with 4 brothers, always goofing around and playing pranks on each other. Angela wondered what Dave had planned, but hoped it would be okay. It was 7:45 p.m., and a live broadcast was to begin from Dave and Norma Adams' house. Wilma Getchell clicked on the link Dave Adams had sent her on her laptop. Next to the laptop on the kitchen table is a video baby monitor. Paul Jr. is asleep at the moment, and Wilma could use a nap. It's been 8 weeks since Paul Jr. was born. He's not an easy baby, and Wilma is sure she has postpartum depression herself. Paul Sr. isn't much help either. He works too much, and when he's home, he's neither sympathetic nor helpful. This, in turn, was causing Wilma even more inner turmoil and stress. She was about to close her laptop and go upstairs to sleep, but held back. It was 7:45 p.m., and a live broadcast was about to begin from Dave and Norma Adams' house. Norma Adams' parents are Betty and Albert Jones. They, too, received a call and link from Dave Adams. Betty and Albert adored Dave. He treats their daughter Norma so well. She was so wild and crazy in her teens and early 20s. They had just about given up hope that she would ever stop partying and having fun when she met Dave. 8 years and 2 kids later, Dave and Norma are doing just fine, and Betty and Albert are so happy for them. What will happen tonight remains a mystery, but tonight is Fool's Day, which means they need to have fun. Albert opened a couple beers for himself and Betty made popcorn. Their son Jerry hooked up the internet to the smart TV, and they settled on the couch, looking at the 132-inch screen. It was now 7:45 p.m., and the live broadcast was starting from Dave and Norma's house. All the viewers had their playback and recording modes set to play and record at the same time. Dave Adams specifically said that there should be recording. The viewers decided that this must be some great joke for the ages, since Dave wants them to record it, so everyone set up to record. The live broadcast began with the usual male banter as 3 friends arrived at the Adams house. The card table was ready, and soon the card game began. At 7:45 p.m., the viewers' screens lit up with a great view of the Adams living room and 4 men drinking beer and playing poker. 10 minutes afterward, Norma's voice was heard in the background, announcing that more beer and chips were about to be brought in. For part of the audience, the screen split at this point, but for the rest of the audience, only the kitchen appeared on the screen. There, Norma was putting chips in a bowl and pouring 4 bottles of beer into glasses. It was business as usual until Norma pulled a small bag from her pocket and poured the contents into one of the glasses. The contents dissolved, and the foam on top made it impossible to see the difference. All the spectators were wondering what was in the bag. The raffle was getting closer, and they began to guess who would get the loaded beer. Albert Jones quickly bet his wife that Paul would get that beer. Janice told Allison that her husband Peter would get the beer. However, to the surprise of the audience, the beer went to Dave Adams. This was becoming increasingly intriguing. Why would Dave and Norma give the contents of the package to Dave? It must involve both of them. Apparently, they have cameras installed in their house to record this prank. Dave sent them the link. Strange. It was all very strange. Soon, Dave began to feel drowsy. He slouched down and couldn't keep his eyes open. The audience was puzzled. Are the other three going to shave off half of Dave's hair? That doesn't make sense. It's probably a prank within a prank. Did Norma give the beer to Dave by mistake, was supposed to give it to someone else but got confused? The audience were all staring intently at their screens. Things were definitely getting exciting. As Dave's head slowly lowered onto the card table and his hand hung limply, dropping the cards to the floor, the audience simultaneously held their breath. Then Norma's voice came through the speakers in the audience houses. "Finally! 4 weeks I've been waiting for this moment. Come on, guys. Let's head to the bedroom. We don't have much time." Allison Barker looked at her sister Janice. Janice looked at Allison. They were shocked. Angela Scarrow's eyes narrowed and she picked up her cell phone. Wilma Getchell stared at the baby monitor screen while Paul Jr. fiddled in bed and almost missed the whole thing. A sense of dread came over Betty and Albert, and they couldn't take their eyes off the screen. Once again, those with a split screen could see Dave sleeping on the card table and the bedroom in the other part. Those without a split screen had only an image of the bedroom, and what an image it was. Norma, Peter, Benny, and Paul undressed in record time. Paul lay on the bed with his feet down on the floor. Norma quickly climbed on top, and it began. The onlookers couldn't believe it. No foreplay. 1 minute it was a game of cards, and the next minute Norma was tightly sealed. It all happened so naturally that it clearly couldn't have been the first time. In a way, it seemed logical. The poker game was ending at 9:30 p.m., so the lovers didn't have much time. Still, it was a shock. At this point, Janice was hugging her sister Allison, and Allison was sobbing on her chest. Neither woman could get a word out. Allison thought she had the perfect husband and marriage, and couldn't understand what was happening on the screen. Janice was so upset with her sister that she couldn't form a coherent sentence, so she didn't say anything. Angela Scarrow was furious. She dialed her older brother Jeff's number on her cell phone. When Jeff answered, Angela was very brief. "That asshole husband of mine is cheating on me. He's at 435 Arrow Road right now with that whore." Jeff wasn't surprised. None of Angela's brothers liked Benny Scarrow. Angela was the youngest and Jeff was the oldest, the other three being Jason, James, and Jared. Their father had died of cancer when Angela was only 6 years old, and his last words to his 4 boys were to take a promise to look after their mom and sister. Jeff immediately dropped out of school and began working in construction. When he turned 18, he became an apprentice carpenter and sent all his money home to his mom. Jason dropped out of school at 16 and started working construction, also giving his mom a paycheck. James followed Jason at 16 and started working for the same company. When Jared turned 16, the other 3 brothers informed him that since he was the smartest of them all, he should stay in school and go to college, to become a manufacturing engineer. After he graduated, they would start their own contracting business. When Angela married Benny, the 4 brothers' design and construction company was doing well. Jared lived at home with his mom, and his other 3 brothers were married. They were a tight bunch, and Benny was tolerated because he married their sister, but they didn't like him. Sometimes Benny would get drunk and say to Angela, "I piss on your brothers." Angela loved Benny and her brothers and thought she had a good marriage, so although there was friction, it was manageable. It's amazing how quickly love can turn to hate. While Jeff called his brothers, the orgy at the Adams house continued. Wilma Getchell was tearing up. 8 weeks of depression, misery, hormones, and lack of sleep had put her in some kind of zombie state. She went to Paul Jr.'s bedroom, picked him up in her arms, and carried him downstairs. She quickly buckled him in his baby carrier and carried him to the car. Betty and Albert turned off the television. The expression of sadness on their faces spoke for itself. Albert got up from the couch, kissed his wife goodbye, put on his coat, and left. 25 minutes later. By now, Norma was hermetically sealed again. The first person to notice was John, Dave's brother, in Benny's bedroom doorway. While Benny was pondering this, John entered the room and with him a blonde woman with a businesslike look. The sounds of sex died down as the woman said in a clear, calm voice, "Would the man please stop so I can ask the woman a question?" Norma twisted her head. "What the hell?" Norma was echoed by Paul. "What the—" Peter changed the phrase slightly, still working on it. "Who the hell?" The woman took 2 steps toward the bed and asked Norma, "Are you Norma Adams?" Norma nodded her head. The woman continued, "I'll take that as confirmation, and you have been served." She then took a picture. It may be one of the most unique shots of its kind. After which the woman turned and walked away. John spoke. "I have a power of attorney from my brother. Since you have deprived him of his legal capacity, I am acting in his place. Get out of my brother's house." Norma tried to speak, but John looked straight at her. "Especially you, you stinking piece of shit. My brother loved you, and you do things like this. Just get out." At that moment, Benny realized that he had to get out of here as soon as possible. He grabbed his clothes and ran downstairs to the card room to get dressed. He was met by Jeff, Jason, James, and Jared. When Benny stopped, Jeff stepped forward and slammed his fist into Benny's jaw. Benny's jaw couldn't take the blow from the construction worker's fist and shattered. "Now you'll have something to remember not to lie about your wedding vows," Jeff said emphatically. Benny dropped to his knees, and Jason quickly grabbed his ring finger. Removing the wedding ring from Benny's finger, Jason broke his finger. Through the new, searing pain, Benny heard Jason say, "Maybe this will be a reminder of your loyalty." Benny was on his knees in intense pain when James brought the pain level to the limit with a swift kick to the groin. James put all his strength into the blow, his steel-toed boot hitting so hard that Benny passed out and didn't hear James say, "Maybe this will remind you to keep your hardware in your pants." Benny was still unconscious when Jared stepped forward, unzipped his fly, and peed on his former brother-in-law. "You always said you pissed on us? Well, we'll piss on you too, Benny." Paul walked into the room as Jared was just getting dressed and tried to slip out of the house past the brothers. He passed the brothers, but as he was looking at them, he didn't notice Wilma walk through the door. Wilma set down the baby carrier and lunged at Paul. The combination of hormones, adrenaline, and rage turned her into a wildcat. She punched him, slapped him, kicked him, pulled his hair, tried to claw his eyes out, and all Paul could do was fight her off. After 5 or so minutes of abuse, Paul managed to free himself from the rampaging dervish that his wife had become and disappeared into the night. Peter Barker came down next. Angela's brothers had watched Wilma tear Paul to pieces and were now helping her to calm down and clean herself up. She had a fair amount of Paul's blood on her. Peter was about to slip past them out the door when his phone rang. It was his sister-in-law, Janice. "Don't even think about coming home tonight, you bastard! You broke my sister's heart. I'm sure her lawyer will contact you. Get out and die!" So Norma was left alone in the bedroom with John. Norma felt that a one-time fling with Dave's friends was a fitting reward for being such a good wife. She had been a faithful mother and wife for 8 years, but the memories of former fun had become too strong. If she had one little adventure, she could be a good wife and mother again, and she and Benny had devised a plan. Benny always wanted to get in her pants, and she knew it. Knew that all of Dave's friends wanted to get in her pants. Although it had gone smoothly that first time, Norma, instead of being satisfied with it, wanted more. Desire took over common sense, and she did it 3 more times, including today. Dave had asked her some uncomfortable questions after the previous time, and she should have stopped, but hold back she couldn't. Norma pulled away from her worries when John spoke. "Come on, you cheating whore, get the hell out. I'm sure Dave's lawyer will contact you." Norma quickly dressed and packed her suitcase. As she walked out of her former home, she was surprised to see her father. Albert looked at his daughter intently. "Fool, April Fool, you had everything and you ruined it. Get in the car." John felt so sorry for his brother Dave. What a bitch. Then he turned to the bedroom camera he'd helped his brother install. That was all it took to live stream the 4 April Fools. Dave hoped it would help you all with your divorces.